Welcome back to Hey Miss Kelda. This is Kelda Lang Poynott, author and educator. We've been working through a series of questions. This is question 15. What if a part of my curriculum isn't working? That happens sometimes. We look through books, we look through catalogs, we go to the store, recommendations may have been made to us from friends, and we purchase something. And once we get into it, we realize that it's not really a good fit for maybe our child's learning style. Maybe it's not at the right level for our child, so it's frustrating or it's boring. It might also be that it's a lot more time consuming than you first thought it would be, or maybe it wasn't what you were looking for at all. Regardless of why it's not working, it's okay that it's not working. We have the flexibility to change that part. Even if you purchased an all inclusive, in the box curriculum that had every component that you would need to school for that grade level for the entire year, we can now take that one component out and replace it with something else, with going and looking for other recommendations, or maybe making something up ourselves that would work better for our child. We need to consider when a part of our curriculum isn't working, we need to consider, our child's learning style. Maybe we need to change the level of it. Maybe if it's a computer versus a book learning. I had to change spelling curriculum for our oldest son in fourth grade. I went through well, I went through 6 different curriculums until we landed on the seventh and we never looked back. That's probably the best lesson for me to share, to encourage families not to buy something really expensive until we know that it really does work. Maybe buy it used, maybe borrow it from a friend, kind of feel it out a little bit before you invest a lot of money into a certain curriculum or into a certain component of a curriculum. Because that year we tried workbooks, we tried different DVD programs, we tried some software programs. Some were free, online. Some were passed to us. We purchased a couple, but that year taught me so much. My child wasn't a strong speller, and I wasn't meeting his learning style, nor was I meeting the way that he processed words and sounds. We had always kind of um, struggled with phonics, but that fourth grade year, we hit a wall with spelling that I realized very quickly that we needed to make a change. And we tried different things, and we were as patient as we could be in the process. But really, it's okay. Um, if you are feeling like that's a good curriculum, but that you might just need to make some modifications for it, then of course you are within your rights to modify it to fit your child's needs. If it is a parent child dynamic that's happening with that subject matter, that the two of you just aren't communicating, you're getting frustrated at each other, um, I would be really encourage you to say, is this a parenting issue or is this a curriculum issue? And really try and figure out what the problem is. Sometimes it is the curriculum, sometimes it's just not a good fit. Other times it just might be willfulness, it might be a discipline issue, it might be, do I take off my teacher hat and put it back on my mom hat? Which way does this need to go? I also encourage you that if it is a dynamic between you and your child, middle school, early high school is sometimes very challenging for those personalities and the dynamic of our parent child relationship. Please don't put away the idea that you might need a tutor, you might need a third party, you might need an online program so that it removes you from the center part of your child in that particular subject. That's just a suggestion. Also, be flexible and willing to make necessary changes as they come up. I'm not saying just keep throwing stuff out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be as consistent as you can be working with what you have until you find the right solution. And that's just going to take some time and some flexibility on your part and maybe some creativity that you and your child together come up with a really good plan. I also find it useful that if something's not working with a curriculum, that sometimes the child, the student, knows exactly why it's not working. And if we listen to them, they may have an idea about what they want. I also find it useful, especially as the children get a little older, that the book or the materials that we are using need to be kinesthetically pleasing. Visually, it needs to have a nice layout for them, the size of the font of the words, maybe the texture of the pages. I know this is kind of nitpicky, but sometimes that could make all the difference in your child's willingness to work through a program, to work through a curriculum, and to work through a subject and be able to be successful in that. So, I encourage you with this that sometimes, even like I said before, even if you've bought this whole big, beautiful package, a component or a part of that isn't, may not work. So be flexible, be creative, and I know that you're going to find the success. And with perseverance, you're gonna find the solution to your child and for that particular subject to be accomplished in a school year. If you'd like more information, please check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Kelda Poynott. There are a couple of workshops available for you. And Facebook, Kelda Poynott Author. You can reach me there. And you can also email me. Please also check out my published works on Amazon.com.